no means no. No collusion means no collusion. It's not that hard. No obstruction means no obstruction. Get over it. Chuck and Nancy, get over it. It's time to move on. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, come on guys, come on. Mueller's report has been released. We had the summary a few weeks ago, and now we're getting the full report. And from William Barr, the new Attorney General, from his press conference this morning, it seems pretty clear that Robert Mueller, the guy in charge of the whole thing, the guy who has demonstrated for the past 2 years plus that he was going to do his investigation, he wasn't going to let anything interfere, he wasn't going to let anything get in the way, and he wasn't about to be intimidated or anything, he's submitted the report. The report's been made public, and from the briefing, from the press conference we had this morning, it seems pretty clear that there was no collusion, there was no obstruction of justice. There were 10 actions that President Trump, was it President Trump himself or President Trump and members of his team? I think it was President Trump himself. 10 actions which they looked at closely to determine whether they constituted obstruction of justice. As A.G. Barr said, from his and Rod Rosenstein's opinion, they didn't feel that the theory of the case was even correct, but they looked at it closely nevertheless, not substituting their judgment for anybody else's, and it was determined that those actions did not constitute obstruction of justice. So it's pretty clear cut. So, but are they satisfied? No. Nancy Pelosi immediately jumps onto wanting Robert Mueller to appear before Congress to give testimony. Testimony about the same things which he put in his report, which we're getting today. Chuck Schumer calls the press conference by A.G. Barr a campaign event for Trump. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Nothing that A.G. Barr said could be construed in that way. He did talk about what Trump was feeling. He did get into his head a bit in terms of the reasons behind his actions, presumably for those 10 actions which they investigated to see whether they construed obstruction of justice. But that's because when it comes to a charge of obstruction of justice, the intention behind the action is what makes it obstruction. Not the fact that you did X, but the reason why you did X. That's why his feelings were relevant. That's why it was relevant to talk about how he felt basically besieged. That's why it was relevant to talk about what Trump was feeling, what may have led to the actions that he took. Come on, this is not that hard. It really just goes to show you the level of dishonesty that these politicians are capable of, that they don't care what the truth is. They should be satisfied now, but they're not, because it was never about getting to the truth in the first place. It was always about trying to find some ammunition which they can use to improve their prospects for 2020. It's always about getting votes, holding on to power, or getting back power that they lost. These guys, they don't care about what's best for the country. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about justice. It's all about getting more power. It's all about getting more votes. It's just despicable. And if it was up to me, they would all be voted out tomorrow.